Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing MotoGP 22, and it's time for another time trial challenge. Time trial challenge 4 is upon us here today, and we're going to be using Fermin Aldeguer on board the Boscoscuro, the speed up otherwise known as, right here in Portimao. So before we get underway with all the lap times in this one, you may have noticed this one's quite a long one because I was really pushing for a very strong lap time towards the end of this video. So definitely stick around for that one because it's going to get pretty intense rather later on. But for now, enjoy the show. I'm going to try and give you as many pointers and tips and a bit of advice on how I've done my lap times. And then of course it'll be down to you to tackle my challenge and to see if you can beat my lap time with the Boscoscuro in Moto 2 in MotoGP 22. Now, if you happen to be tackling this challenge whilst watching the video, then I will say that the bike is a disabled balance performance, so it is exactly how it was intended. I don't know exactly how the balance performance works. I do believe every bike is just given 100% performance, and of course bikes will be quicker when they shouldn't be, so I left the speed up, the Boscoscuro chassis, just completely bog standard. I didn't change any setups as well, just in case anyone asks me, just tried changing tyres. Soft front pretty much remained always, and medium front didn't really work. But I did try the soft and medium rear, and I did find that both of them were both very good. So coming into the Galt then for the very first time of asking, this is the banker lap. This is just to see how we're getting on, see how we feel with the Moto 2s. It's been a while. It's probably been a good couple of videos since I've done a Moto 2. I don't even think I've done a Moto 2 race in MotoGP 22. But there we go. The banker lap has been done, and now it is time to really bring on the heat. So the 143 is certainly not going to wow anyone. The lap times that I'm hoping to beat were in the 141s. So let's see how we progress. But going into turn 3 then, very difficult corner, and with the Moto 2 machines, I did find that the front brakes and the rear brakes are rather strong, in the sense of that when you press the rear brake, the chances are you can really spin the rear from just losing the rear. It's not something I've done often in the past, but I'm finding it's really strong within MotoGP 22, so if you tend to use a lot of rear brake in MotoGP like I do, you'll find the transition a little bit difficult. I don't tend to use that much in Moto 3, but for Moto 2 I did try and use a lot of rear brake, and it fell foul quite a couple of times, so just be very careful with the rear brake. We're now into the Craig Jones corner for turn 9. We're going to position the motorcycle to the right hand side for Portimao and then bring on the brakes. As you can see, a little bit too wide there, and also losing the front. That is a theme that's going to happen in this one. I'm going to slide, I'm going to lose the front, and I'm going to slip quite often, because these bikes are really slippy in this particular track. I don't know if it's just the track or if it's Moto 2 in general, but I did find that I was really slipping and couldn't really find grip. I enjoyed it. It certainly felt different, but it wasn't what I was used to. So this one took a bit of a soul search, let's be honest, and a lot of effort and a lot of resolve. So I'm hoping you enjoy this video, honestly, because it's you'll see later on. You'll see how much I'd really try. But across the line for the second time, 143.274. As mentioned earlier, the lap times that I was looking to beat were 141s. Not going to cut it. We're so far behind, we really need to improve the lap times, but roughly about 1.3 seconds being off the pace from the first time I've jumped in Moto 2 for a long time. I'm not too mad at that. I know I can go a lot quicker. We entered Portimao pretty pathetically, so let's see what we can produce. But now we're going into probably one of my most favourite corners in MotoGP. I love sliding the rear into this corner. It felt so good on the Moto 2 bike, just hitting the rear brake, letting it slide, letting it wobble, and then getting into the left hand side, positioning it in nice and tight for Tour VIP. Now, of course, that corner has a weird sort of, I don't know if it is a bug or if it's relatively realistic. I don't really know. I've never been on a MotoGP machine, unfortunately. I've never been in Portimao either. So, I don't know. But apparently, the bike just loses all feeling when you go into that corner. It's like the controls get taken off you for a second. It's just a bit weird. You get sucked into the corner and you can't seem to move. You have to just grin and bear it. I grinned and bear it, and I did a decent lap time in the end, so just be very careful of that one if you do feel that the controller just doesn't seem to respond to you when you're into the Tour VIP corner. But now coming out to turn 13, and now going into Sagres for turn 14, a corner that has caught me out too many times in this one. Way too many times. Touching the rumble strip on the right hand side there is a no-go. Don't go anywhere near the rumble strip for Sagres for turn 14 or for turn 15 here in the Galp. Keep well away from the rumble strips. So going for that wider line and making a smaller mistake into turn 15 did lose us a significant amount of time to the Ghost, so this one is not an improvement. So one thing you will notice that the soft tyre got relatively warm there in just a couple of laps. So the goal now, swap over to the medium rear, give that a try, see how we feel with this one. I think the game was recommending a medium or a hard. Couldn't get on with the hard tyre. I don't like the hard tyre in MotoGP games, so medium rear is probably the hardest I'll go. But for now, turn 4, things are looking okay, not looking too bad. One thing I did notice that I wasn't putting enough power on the bike. This is something that if you're used to MotoGP or, for example, the 800cc's and 990s or even the 500s, you're quite gentle with acceleration. The Moto2 machines you can really pin the throttle and it feels pretty good. The bike slides a little bit, but it's actually much quicker. It wasn't until probably now and a little bit beyond I didn't realise how much you can push the right trigger. As mentioned before, MotoGP 21 you have to be very gentle. MotoGP 22, they favour the more heavy-handed players, so just if you're a gentle player like me, maybe bring on the power a little bit stronger for Moto 2. But into the right-hand side for turn 11, still not getting that right, still slipping and sliding all over the place, so we need to improve there. And now into turn 13, the old Pedro Acosta lunge up into turn 13 that we've seen for ages last year in Moto 3. And now into Sagres for turn 14, 0.6 of a second better than the previous lap time, so bringing on the power strongly, medium rear, good combination so far, liking this one so far, not too bad. And now into turn 15, bring on the power, bring on the acceleration with power setting 3, avoid the rumble strip because you lose a significant amount of time, try to avoid the wheelie there, you can just let go of the acceleration ever so slightly or even tap the rear brake, and across the line it's a 1:42.791. So that is our first 1:42 lap, but let me put your mind to ease, that is not going to be the only 1:42. There's going to be a lot of 1:42s in this particular Grand Prix video. So now into the right hand side for Lagos, very in control there, very in control. I like the way I entered that corner, slid the rear in there, felt comfortable, felt confident as we then went into turn 3. And now into Tour VIP for turn 5, braking relatively early. There's that rear slide that I was talking about, it looks good, but you do lose a bit of time, so just be very careful with that particular section. And there you go, 0.4 of a second quicker, getting the feeling now with the trigger. You can go a lot harder than you think. Just as long as the bike is not on a lean angle, be careful with acceleration, but if it's getting straight and it's positioning the bike with the tyres parallel, go for it. Go full acceleration, the bike loves it. Telling you now, the bike loved it. So now into turn 10 for the Portimao corner. Keeping it nice and tight to the apex here. I felt that was a lot nicer than going for that wider apex, but just be very careful on the wheelie coming out of turn 11 there. And now into turn 12, turn 13, approaching rapidly, braking in. Lost the front too many times in this corner. Way too many times for this particular video. Thankfully I didn't show all of them, and I don't think I show any of them, to keep my pride in stake. But now coming out of turn 14, 0.7 of a second quicker. This is going to be a good lap. If we piece it all together going into the Galp and beyond, this could very well be a 1:41 lap. It looks like it might just avoid us ever so slightly, but we'll bring on the power now and try and get across the line for a 1:41 lap. I don't think it's going to happen across the line. It's a 1:42.171. So a brilliant improvement, but that is certainly not it. So now it is time to give it all for the 1:41s. Something I will mention is, which I don't think this video really captures, this took a lot of effort. This took a lot of effort to get the Boscoscuro anywhere near a 1:41. There was a lot of crashes, a lot of mistakes that obviously I couldn't include in the video because the video would be way too long, and of course, as mentioned, my pride would be at stake. I'm only kidding. But to the left hand side for Tour VIP for the left hand of turn 5, ahead of the Ghost, we made a mistake on that previous lap, so we were able to take advantage of it, and we're here losing a bit of confidence. This is what's crucial now when it comes to time trials. You will do the same laps over and over again. You will get better in some corners, but those corners you do make mistakes and you start to overthink. So when you go into some particular corners, you'll panic a little bit, you'll brake a little bit too early, you'll maybe a little bit too gentle, and you'll lose all your advantage. I did want to turn the Ghost off, and I did try it because I really hate the Ghost, but I know you guys like it, so I persevered with the Ghost on. But I think the Ghost is a massive hindrance. you can really focus on it when you shouldn't be doing. I even position myself in the slipstream of the Ghost, trying to get additional time. So, I don't like the Ghost. If it's for you, keep it on. I'll keep it on for you guys, because I think you guys like it. That's what I've been told in the past. So, yeah, I'll leave it on for now. But into 15, not bad. I'd like a tighter apex there for this one. If we can get the tighter apex, we'll be going into the 141s. But at this time, it's not going to happen. We're going to be so close, but it's not going to materialise. Across the line, it's a 142.036. So unfortunately, this is where I hit a brick wall. I couldn't seem to pass from the 142.036. I also had another issue where I was running out of space on my SSD, so I was also worried that if this video went on too long, I would lose the progress. So, a bit of added pressure for me there. But to the left-hand side for turn 4, gently bring on the power with the soft option rear. Now, I went back to the soft rear, needed something to try and get me to that next step. Hopefully the soft rear will be it. To the left-hand side for Tour VIP, much more in controlled, reducing the slide. I've got the soft option rear now. It's going to overheat if I try and do that slide, so we've got to try and avoid that as we just touch the rumble strip and get a bit of a wheelie. And now to the right-hand side for turn 7, losing the front, fighting with the Boscoscuro. This is how hard I was pushing to try and get this Boscoscuro into the 141s. I'm a stubborn old git. I really want to get into the 141s, whether it's being that close to the next increment a second, or with the challenge I originally set out for myself. So I need to get into the 141s. I have to do it. So now into the right hand side for turn 11. Careful of the wheelie there. We avoided it great this time. Just gently touching the brake for the left hand side for turn 12, just to slow us down enough so we don't go too wide. And then we went wide into turn 13. All that effort, all that time wasted by going wide into the 13th corner. 14, really tight the apex there. Couldn't be any tighter. Any tighter than that and you'll crash. The rumble strip there is deadly. So to the right hand side for turn 15 for the gallop. I'm trying to pin it to the right hand side there, but just running it a little bit deeper, bringing on the power. You can see the soft option rear is already glowing red. The soft option rear, it's not the best of decisions, but it does help you get there into the early stages of the lap. So you've got to try and persevere with it if you want. I'm going to try and stick with it as long as I possibly can. Going into turn 1, pretty confident now into that particular corner. I don't think turn 1 is that bad of a corner. I've never really had too much difficulty with it. It's just piecing it all together now. This is the hard part, and keeping the concentration while my SSD is about to probably fill up to its maximum capacity. So now on the entry to the Tour VIP, braking way before the rumble strip even materialises to the right hand side of your screen there. That is exactly how I felt confident in this particular corner. Now coming out, go for a wider exit and avoid the rumble strip there, because you do tend to wheelie a bit. Brake here, but don't lock the brakes when the sort of tarmac changes colour. It's a good indication of when to start braking. Keep it really tight to the apex, but again, do not touch the rumble strip for Samsung. Same can be said here. I'm going to just touch it briefly and the bike's going to just bobble a little bit. Certainly enough to raise the heart rate. Probably should have kept the heart rate monitor on for this particular video, but never mind. In the past now as we really try and stop it for turn 11. But because we've gone wide here, got to try and regain the position, and it's just not going to work out. Should have kept it wider going onto the rumble strip for the right hand side and then going for the tighter apex, but it doesn't look like it's going to materialise on this particular lap. Braking into turn 14, did try and outbrake the Ghost there, which helped us a little bit, as we now have the different acceleration strategy onto the right hand side, and now going into the gallop for turn 15. Hit the brakes quite firm there. I felt it lock a little bit, but we're still pretty good, but I don't think this lap time is going to be an improvement. We are going to bring on the power, just reducing acceleration ever so slightly, just so we don't wheelie too much, but it is not going to be enough. So once more, another attempt. This time, returning back to the old faithful, returning back to the medium rear. Can we get it done this time? It's been 5 laps now, 4 laps, I can't count, of being in the 142s, lows 142s. We've got to try and improve upon this one. Turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 and 4, pretty solid stuff. Tour VIP approaching rapidly. This is a corner I do feel rather confident on now. Pretty much neck and neck with the Ghost. A little bit more confident than the previous lap, but again, we messed up towards the end of the lap with this particular Ghost, so you've got to try and balance where you're going to be stronger and where you're going to be a little bit weaker. But into turn 7, really promising stuff that. Nice and tight to the apex, strong on the brakes for Samsung with turn 8, not trail braking uphill because that is deadly. Just make sure you're firm on the brakes before you get into Samsung. As we now launch it to the left hand side for the Craig Jones corner, not really where I wanted to position the Boscoscuro, but we're still in a good spot to improve our lap time. Turn 11, not bad if we avoid the wheelie. Oh, a little bit of a wheelie, but not too bad. To the left-hand side for turn 12, running it a little bit deeper. Losing a bit of confidence there compared to the previous lap. You can see how clean the other lap was when we were aggressive going into that corner. Not really got the confidence at this stage, but we will regain it. So keep on pushing, keep on focusing, and we will get there in due time. So now out to Sagres, now into 15 for the Galt. Braking quite firm so the brakes almost lock. And now to the right-hand side, slowly, not going to happen. The thing is, I went for more power there to see if I could get really wider on the exit, but it seems you lose time, so it's better to go for the tighter apex rather than what I've just done there. Now, I don't know if you guys notice this or not, but to the right-hand side of your screen there, lap number 9, there's a lap time of a 1:42.136, which was 1,000th of a second slower than the previous lap time. But if you watch that previous lap, the Ghost was actually ahead of us quite significantly, so I don't know how that's worked out as 1,000th of a second. So I guess my advice would be is if you do have the Ghost on, don't stress about it, because clearly it's not quite as close as you would think. Or maybe it is closer than you think? I'm not entirely sure, so just take that as a pinch of salt. I just noticed that and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Because it was at least 2 bike lengths ahead of me and it was only 1,000th of a second, so don't stress about the Ghost, ladies and gentlemen. So now into the right hand side for turn 8, running it a little bit deeper. That's not how we like to do it. I do prefer the tighter apex, so I feel like I'm losing a bit of ground on this particular lap. I'm going to stay with it, because who knows what might happen, and I need to get that confidence going again. Got to have that belief in oneself to continue to push at this level. So to the right hand side for turn 11, stop the wheelie. We did a good job of avoiding the wheelie there. Bringing on the power to the left hand side, got a lot of confidence, almost too much confidence going into turn 12, but we've really closed up onto the Ghost now. And now we have a chance, but we've brought on the power just too aggressively. When you're that close, you get a little bit eager, and this is exactly why I don't recommend the Ghost. It drives me mad. I got a little bit focused on the Ghost too much there, and I was like, oh my god, I'm getting close, bring on the power, and it's too early. So we'll try and avoid that for the next couple of lap times, bringing on the power for 15 anyway, just reducing acceleration ever so slightly so we don't wheelie just over that small ridge, but across the line is going to be a 1:42.067, so very close to our personal best lap time right now, which was set ages ago on lap 6. So now it's time to bring on this confidence. We gained more time into turn 12 and 13 from earlier, which I felt good about. Let's just keep on pushing like this now. Let's keep it going and let's get into the 141s. Lap 11 is our attempt right now. Tour VIP is approaching. We stay with the Ghost and then beat the Ghost into those sectors where we know we're quicker. We're going to have the 141. It's just piecing it all together. Be careful in acceleration. Don't be too aggressive when the Ghost gets too close. To the left-hand side briefly, and then to the right-hand side for turn 7. Keep it nice and tight to the apex. I couldn't have positioned that any better. Braking really firm now for turn 8. Tighter apex. We mentioned on the previous lap time, I went for that wider apex and it didn't work. But now here, going into the Craig Jones corner. Nice exit, but touching the rumble strip ever so slightly. Braking into the right-hand side, gently applying the brake pressure. You'll see in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen how much brake was actually being applied there. 0.2 of a second quicker we are right now, ladies and gentlemen. This could be it. On lap 11, coming into turn 12, into turn 13, braking quite firm. Don't worry about the Ghost. Don't worry about the Ghost. Just keep on bringing the power on. We've done it too early again. The second time in succession. Bringing the power on too prematurely. God damn it. It's not something I ever do, but I noticed how harder you have to push with the Moto2 machine to get it to move, but unfortunately, this lap time is not going to cut it once more. Frustration levels through the roof. Doing the same mistake twice in the same corner is just infuriating. So my storage did reach its capacity, and I needed to delete some footage to make space for this one, which actually was a blessing in disguise. It was a break that I needed just to reassure oneself, have 5 minutes, get a drink, chill out, and tackle this again. So lap 12, here in Portimao on the Boscoscuro chassis, we're going to give it everything we've got. This is the first one back after deleting so many videos and then restarting the recording once again. We're going to do it. I'm so determined. Forget about the world record, forget about the top 3, forget about the top 5, top 10, whatever it may be. I'm just going to get into the 141s. That's my personal goal for this video. And don't forget, your guys have got to beat this as well. So all this effort I'm putting in right now to make this lap time a bloody good one will then be down to you to try and beat. And if you beat it in within like one lap, then more power to you, because this one gave me hell. But to the right hand side for Portimao now. Pretty strong going into the 10th corner, pretty in control going into turn 11. Are we going to conjure up something incredible here for the final sector? Turn 12 a little bit too wide, a little bit too tight. I'd rather prefer go wider. Turn 13, we don't bring the power on too early. That's a good sign. That's a very good sign. To the right hand side for 14, not going to be close enough, but I do feel pretty good. I feel like this brake was what we needed. A little bit better on the controller now, not being as aggressive. Also had to put the controller in wired now because the DualShock 4 died. And now to the right hand side for turn 15, bringing on the power. It's not going to be enough on this lap, but is the next lap going to be that one that we need to get into the 141s? Across the line, another 142.2. So now into the brakes for Primera corner for turn 1. Very firm on the brakes, very good in control though as we slid it a little bit into turn 1, but still in control. Now into the right for turn 2, braking literally alongside the Ghost as we go really tight to the apex for Lagos for turn 3. Run it wider here, then to launch it to the left hand side for turn 4. Almost a moment there as we brought on the power a bit prematurely, but now going really neck and neck with the Ghost once again. Tour VIP. The Ghost looks to be a little bit further ahead, but don't worry about the Ghost. That's just a reference point. We're focusing on our own particular lap right now. To the left hand side, look at where the concrete changes colour. Go to the right hand side for 7. Keep it in, keep it pinned, keep it tight. Brake for turn 8. Pretty good stuff so far. I'm feeling confident, feeling good. Not brought the power on too much. The medium rear is still a nice temperature. Now to the left hand side for turn 9. Up by a 10th. We don't usually get ahead at this stage. Can we brake and get it in control for turn 10? We certainly can. Nice and tight to the apex. Avoid the wheelie here at all costs. Good stuff. Double thumbs up. Turn 12, go for the wider line. Brake rather firm. Lost a little bit of confidence there going into 13, but we're still rather ahead now. 0.3 of a second as we go to the right hand side for 14 for Sagres. Really tight to the apex. And we now bring on the power. This is it. Get Galp correct, and we've done it. We didn't really position where I wanted to. I've gone a little bit wide for the Galp, I hope. Oh no. Don't tell me we've just blew it. Don't tell me we've just blown it. We've absolutely blew it into the final sector there. As we now go into turn final bit. Not doing any wheelie. Across the line. This should be enough. Is it enough? It is! 141.981. About goddamn time. We did get the 141, but what could have been in that final sector? 0.3 of a second we had up against the Ghost and we blew it going into the Galp. One corner, one moment, lost us 0.3 of a second. And look at what could have been if we pieced it all together. A 141.456. That is a stunning lap, which I couldn't piece it all together. Maybe next time, maybe not with the Boscoscuro. Although I am relieved to get the 141s, I am not relieved with that lap position here in the time trial leaderboard. A 141.981 is only good enough for 4th position, and that hurts, that really does. I expected to be further up, and with that ideal lap that could have been, we could have been right up there in 2nd position. But nevertheless, guys, a really tough challenge. We had to really work hard. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I worked bloody hard at this one. So guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let me know how you get on with this challenge. Thanks for watching, guys, and ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.